JP, welcome to Security Halt podcast. How's it going, brother?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. I love reaching out to our legacy Green Berets, man. You've been out here, out in the wild, making things happen. And one of the things that I love to highlight is how to succeed in transition, because every Green Beret has everything they need to succeed. They just need to get over that fear. And what better way of overcoming that than through a PDSS? Every time we deployed, we did a PDSS, got our hands-on knowledge from that other team of how to succeed in the fight. And transition is no different. When we see guys out there succeeding, doing great things, leading nonprofits, starting businesses, all we have to do is reach out to them, connect, and ask them, hey, brother, what was it like getting out? How did you get to point A, from point A to point B, and do that transition PDSS? So today, man, I not only want to dive into your history, the background, how you became a Green Beret, but everything on the backside, how you got to where you're at right now.
Oh, well, let me start by saying you're right. PDSS is important, right?
Yep.
And I think that the biggest thing for a lot of us is that once we get out, we still stuck in who we I don't want to say who we used to be because we're still that person, but what we used to do, right?
Yes.
So we get stuck in that and we go like, man, I'm an operator, I'm kicking down doors, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, guess what? But downtown freaking Miami, you ain't gonna be doing that. So so find something different.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of people go the route of shooting training because that's what I used to do, and that's fine if that's what you like. But to me, it's like, yeah, I do training, right? Because I run a company that do that, but the thing is, I don't want to be in the range every single day.
Yes.
I already did that, man.
You got to evolve.
Yeah, I got an A+ on that one, but it's we get stuck in the past, and I think that's one of our biggest fears is letting go of that adrenaline that we used to get all the time. Letting go of the brotherhood, which you don't have to let go of the brotherhood. It's just it's different now. And you got to start adjusting to that. I think that's the biggest fear for a lot of people. Like I just talked to someone recently who said, I'm scared. I got no idea what I'm going to do.
Dude, that's all of us. Every last one of us. Yeah, man. But it's like diving into the world. I always tell guys the team room is bigger on the outside. It doesn't seem that way at first, but when you open up the aperture, when you dive into the ecosystems of LinkedIn, when you get on the Facebook threads, the Graybeard Facebook group, and you realize all these guys, maybe they were scary when they were your sergeant major, but on the outside, they might bust your balls a little bit, but they're going to give you insight. If they can't give you direct guidance into what to do, because that's a deep personal journey, they can at least give you a piece of their journey, a piece of their background, how they got their feet on the solid ground rather than, sitting there treading water forever. And that's what I love about being able to reach out to guys like yourself, being able to give people like, hey, look, it's always going to be scary. But once you find one thing that you enjoy and you want to try to get into, just keep pulling that thread. And, but before we dive into your transition story, how did you find your way into the military?
Oh man, to be honest, since I was a little kid, my mother had me like in first grade, first and second grade. I was in a military academy in Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
I kind of loved it, except for the fact that I talk a lot. So I always found myself information with soap in my mouth, a bar of soap in my mouth, so I wouldn't talk information. But other than that, it was great. It was fun. I just couldn't keep my mouth shut, right? So I always had to make a comment about something. So anyway, so I started with that, and then I always was inclined towards the military. And then when I was 11 years old, I discovered the Civil Air Patrol, and I joined the Civil Air Patrol, and that just took over my life. That's everything I did was all about the Civil Air Patrol. Now, in the States, and I've been in a lot of squadrons in the States, and I went through a lot of competitions, and I met a lot of people from the States. So here in the States, a little bit different. Civil Patrol, they show up maybe 2 hours once a week, and that's what they get. In Puerto Rico, it's different. The meetings in Puerto Rico are on Saturdays, and you start at 8 a.m. and sometimes at 6, you're still in the squadron. Wow. So it is an entire day that you're getting leadership training, drill and ceremonies, PT. You name it, you're getting all of that. So when you spend an entire day over there, that becomes your family. And then on Sundays, we go like, well, let's practice for the drill team competition on Sunday. So now you're taking these kids, which a lot of them were trouble kids, and you take them out of the streets an entire weekend. And to me, that was awesome. I saw a lot of people that were in trouble all the time transitioning to being lieutenant colonels in the military now, right?
Wow.
Because of that structure that the civil patrol gave them. So to me, that gave me the beginning of what I wanted to do. Now I knew I wanted to join the military. I like the leadership. I love all that. Of course, initially I was going to go to the Air Force because it was,
Yeah, it makes sense.
it makes sense, right? And I always wanted to be a pilot. So I go like, yeah, I'm gonna fly F-16s. I'm gonna drop bombs. I'm gonna be, cool. I was 16 wearing the cool freaking aviator glasses, right? Looking cool.
Watch Top Gun every weekend, didn't you?
Well, I don't think Top Gun was a thing back then. This like 87, 88, But yeah, no, but I was wearing the aviator glasses, looking cool, wearing my pilot jacket.
Nice.
Even though that I don't even know what an airplane looks like in the inside, but I thought it was cool, right? But so that really started it. And then when I went to college, I was still in the civil patrol. Then I went to college and I joined the Air Force ROTC. So the first 2 years I did Air Force ROTC. Then I decided to transition to Army ROTC, which I never did because when I was sitting over there with the Army ROTC guys, and they were talking about all this training and Ranger School and black hats and all this. I'm like, man, I want to be an instructor. That's what I do, right? I like to teach. I like to be part of it. So if I'm an officer, I ain't gonna do that. So literally, I left that day. I left the ROTC complex. I went straight to Rio Piedras recruiting station. And I walk in there and say like, hey, I'm joining the Army. They're like, well, let me talk to you. No, I already know what I want. Just give me the damn test. I'm joining. And they're like, man, you're an easy recruiter. I'm like, yeah, I already know what I want. Let's do this. so I just went in. Yeah, I'm in. You don't have to convince me. Actually, if you talk too much, I might leave because I get bored. So anyway, so I went over there. I took my test. Of course, in Puerto Rico, you have to take a quick 30 or 40 question English test to make sure you know enough English. I don't know how I passed that one, but I did. And then they take you to take the ASVAB. So I did that, went to MEPS. I told them exactly what I wanted. Of course, they tried to bullshit me at first, like they always do. But I knew what I wanted. I've been around the military long enough, people in the civil patrol, senior members who were in the military before, and they told me the do's and don'ts. So I got what I wanted. I got Airborne School, Infantry, 11 Bravo, and I went straight to the 82nd, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm like, all right. Then after that, it's up to me of what I accomplished, right? They got me started. Now it's up to you.
Yeah. Where in the 82nd did you land?
I was in the second of the 325.
Oh man, I was gonna say I was hoping you'd say 2504.
Oh, no, 404.
Dude, so many great individuals come from the 82nd, man. I think it's like the undergraduate's degree for being a professional soldier.
Man, let me tell you, when I was in group, so when I was in the 82nd, I was in Alpha Company at first, but then I went to the Scout platoon. So I was in the Recon platoon.
Yeah.
And I want to say almost everyone, but maybe 3 that were in my platoon ended up in group.
Wow.
Yep. Tony Pastor, Captain AIDS, Mike Vitra. Most of the guys that were with me in that platoon ended up going to either 3rd group or 7th group. It was amazing because when I start running into them, I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, well, we decided if this skinny ass mofo can do it, we can do it too.
All it takes is that one guy. We had the same thing. All it takes that first guy. For us, it was Pete. As soon as Pete made it, it gave everybody else that strength of like, and not from a place of like, oh, if he can make it. No, we were like, fuck yeah, we can do this. If Pete can make it, I know I can do it. We can all do it. And yeah. I mean, by the time we got done with our second, that original family that, enlisted and was in the same deployment cycle as I was, as soon as the first couple guys went to selection, it was like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, and like my PL went, platoon sergeant went, like.
Yeah, it is, and it's funny because I went to selection. I was already out of the 82nd. I went to Panama for the last year before Panama shut down.
Oh, no shit.
And I saw grown ass men crying when the flag was coming down. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't want to leave Panama." One of them was Sergeant Major Reyes. I don't know if you remember Sergeant Major Reyes, but yeah, he cried like a baby. I remember, and I'm gonna keep telling him that.
I think that's one of the biggest blunders we ever had as a military. Coming from a Panamanian myself, it would have been cool to have been stationed in Panama. I think it was such a strategic value to have that. Man.
You know what? It was different. It gave you a lot of freedom, right? A lot of freedom to get in trouble too, right? But I think it gave you a lot of freedom, especially for like I had a lot of soldiers, and I was an NCO at the time, so I had a lot of guys in my squad who that was the first time, the first duty station. They're 19 years old, the first time they've been out of their homes, and
Wow.
now they're thrown into Panama in a foreign language, right? And they're over there coming, going like, "She loves me," and like, "She don't even know how to say I love you in English. What are you talking about?" Right? But it's just that experience alone is something that a lot of people don't get. And that was what I was trying to explain. That it might be hard, but you're gonna appreciate this experience later. Because there's a lot of people in the military that wish they left the states, and they did 30 years and never
Yep.
left the states.
That's crazy too. To think about that. That's something that I mean, it exists. It's like a unicorn. But when you meet somebody that's been in through the entirety of GWAT and they never left anywhere, it's like, what? Where have you been?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like, yeah. So I went and put a tent in JRTC, and that was pretty cool. And don't get me wrong, it's not their fault. They just
Yeah.
because there's a friend of mine, Javi, and his son. I think he was in the 10th Mountain first, and then as he was leaving, his unit got tasked to deploy, and he's like, "Son of a!" And then he goes to Alaska. He's in Alaska. Nothing happened. The two deployments that were supposed to do for training to Europe got canked. As soon as he leaves, unit deploys, and he's like, "What is going on?" And then he gets to the 82nd, and then he gets orders to go to Italy a few years later, and then his unit deploys.
Sometimes the universe is working against you.
And I go like, well, at least you got to go to Italy. You know, it's like, all right, it's not a deployment, it's a PCS, but hey, you got something.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah.
but so that's how my my thing started. And then when I was in Panama, that's when I went to selection. There was a few of us that went together. I think I'm not pretty sure. I think I was the only one that made it from that little group, but it was like three of us. But that inspired a lot of other guys to go and do it
Yeah.
after that, which is great. Uh, and everybody asked me, "So, what did you do for training?" I didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I was already in the infantry, so I was rocking all the time. I was running all the time. The only thing I really did, and I think I did it twice, is I practiced the water jug carries, right? Because
Yeah.
my forearms are not that freaking great, right? I mean, I was 130 pounds, 125, 130 pounds, right? So that's the only thing I tried a few times. I'm like, okay, this is gonna suck. There's nothing I can do to train for this. It's just gonna suck. So I just went out there and didn't quit.
Yeah. You know, that's same thing. I came back from a deployment and went straight into selection. And nowadays there's so many fitness programs and so many like coaches and subscription based models where you can like get a play by play training guideline to go to selection. I'm like, you just don't quit. You just don't quit. I think it's more of a mind game. And if you have more ahead of you that you're hoping for, they have this positive like focus and almost like a hyper focus, almost just addictive behavior of like, I need to get here. I need to make it out of here. That's going to be more beneficial than any program. I think guys get too wrapped around the perfect meal plan, the perfect workouts. Dude, pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, run and rock, and mindset. The mindset will do more for you than paying $29.99 a month for a plan.
A lot of people don't believe me when I tell them most of the big guys that showed up with big muscles and selections, they were the first ones to quit.
Yeah.
They were the first ones to quit. I mean, and there I am. They call me the skinny tough guy. That's how they call me. And yeah, the skinny tough guy. I'm like, dude, because I'm not tough. I'm hurting just like you.
Yeah.
I'm just not bitching about it because it's gonna hurt anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I think that selection, yeah, and don't get me wrong, if you are out there and you're enrolling to one of these programs, you know, take advantage of that. That's something that we didn't have before. But at the end of the day, is Are you going there for the right reasons, right?
Yeah.
Are you going there just because everybody's doing it? Are you going there because you want to be cool? Or are you going to selection because you really, really want to do that job? This is the
Yeah.
lifestyle I'm looking for. That's gonna make the difference when you go there and your mindset, right? It's like this is not about just passing. This is about the rest of my life. Uh,
Absolutely.
and that's the way I looked at it when I went. Two reasons: one, this is what I want to do. That this is what I want to do. Period. And two, I'm not going back to Panama and face my squad and tell them I quit. Now, right? Because I was their NCO. Now I'll tell them I didn't get selected. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I will not tell them I quit. That will not happen.
Yeah.
So as long as you're there for the right reasons, I think that you won't quit. Like quitting is not a choice.
Yeah. That's the one thing that people don't talk about much is like that mentality of I'll quit tomorrow or I'll quit in another hour. You just tell yourself like, all right, give yourself an out, like, all right, tomorrow I'll quit. Like just those mind games that you play with yourself to keep yourself focused. One thing that we always said, and I translated all the way through to selection was like, I can do anything for 5 minutes. If I can do anything for 5 minutes, I can do anything for 10 minutes. It's like I just got to figure out like that increment of suffering and just reset the clock. All right, 5 more minutes. I can suffer for another 5 minutes. And if you need a smaller increment, basically, like what I'm trying to define for you is that mentality of understanding that your mind will get you through so much if you train it. Because your body's not going to be the thing that gives up unless you have a horrible catastrophic injury. It's
Yep.
going to be your mind. Your mind's going to be playing tricks on you of I can't do this. And you have to temper that. You have to constantly push that, whether it's through find your weak. That's the one thing I will say, find your weakest event and train the fuck out of it. If it's running, hey, I hate running.
Oh,
Guess
that
what?
makes two of us.
Guess what? That is part of my plan. That is part of my workout weekly plan. I run and I tell myself I can do anything for 5 more minutes. When that virtual coach for my running plan is telling me to keep going, I know that I can say, I can keep going. I can keep the speed up. I can keep it going.
you know, w-
Don't, yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, when I
Yeah.
was in the 82nd, we had a platoon sergeant when I was in the scout platoon, Big Daddy Epps. That's how we call him, Big Daddy Epps, Sergeant Epps, pure Airborne steel. That's how he called himself. And he was a machine. I tell you that.
Yeah.
But he took us every Monday on what he called a quick 3 mile run.
I know it.
It always ended up being 5 to 8 miles.
Yeah.
And like he loved just running the fuck of us, right? And he's like, all that beer from the weekend, we're gonna get rid of it today. And I remember because the first 3 miles he always took us like just dash to like keep up with
Yeah.
me. And he was a good runner. And after he smoked you in the first 3 miles and you feel like you can go no more, he always turned back around and he goes like, you guys are pretty much done, huh? And we're like, yeah. He's like, well, guess what? That's your mind telling you that your body can go another 5 miles. Let's go, boys. And I'm like, but he was right. I mean, he was
Yeah.
trying to teach you something. It's like you're quitting up here, but your body can still do so much more, probably 2 or 3 times what you think you can do.
Yep.
And
We had the same thing. Our platoon sergeant was the same way. Shout out to you, Sergeant Mac. And it was just understanding. I think that's what ultimately helps a lot of us that started out in the regular army. We have the NCOs that can build that endurance and build that no quit mentality. And you can do it on your own. 18 X-rays have been succeeding for eons now. But it definitely helps having that senior guy in the platoon that will run the absolute dog shit out of you and
yep,
show you that you can keep going. Like it's gonna suck, but you get done, and what happens? As soon as you're back at the company area, everybody's back to normal. Nobody's hobbling. Nobody's like oh shit, like we can do this. We
yeah.
just did it. And he'll more than likely that guy will walk away, go to the smoke pit, and smoke fucking Marlboro Red.
It's funny because when I first got to the scout platoon, I mean, I was a good rocker, but running, not my best
Yeah.
one, right? And he used to get on me. Sergeant Epps goes like, "Listen, big guy, it's like you either keep up with me in the runs or you're gonna have to go back to the line." And I'm like, oh snap! And so my a squad leader told me, "Hey, check it out. Like he's serious. He's
Yep.
giving you 2 months, and you better keep up with the runs, and you better max your run too, because it was not just keeping up with the runs. In the PT test, you have to max the run if you want to stay in the scout platoon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy snaps, max the run. I gotta shave like 40 seconds. That's a lot, right? I'm like, woo. So I'm like, okay. So you know what? It was the actual platoon guys that took turns, and they go like every afternoon, a different guy from the platoon took me out on a run.
No shit.
And they're like, we don't gonna run fast. We're just gonna build your cardio. And they took me out every single afternoon. They took their own time to do that. And next thing you know, we do a PT test. I maxed the run for the first time in my career.
Damn.
Right. And not only that, when I came back into, we got done with the PT test and all that. And then we go to the CP and talk about what we're going to do throughout the day. The first thing that Sergeant Epps did, he stood up, walked up to me, shook my hand, gave me a hug. He said, I knew you could do it, big guy. And I was like, oh, see, he was messing with me this whole time, kick me out of the scout platoon and all that, but he knew I could do better. And he wanted to push me to do better. And that's the difference between that mentality and the mentality of these days. It's like, oh, they're messing with me. Oh,
yeah,
my God,
exactly.
I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're trying to build character, man. It works.
Yeah. And that's arguably that helps you find that confidence too, that go to selection, get selected. And we don't talk about it enough. Mentorship doesn't just happen in the regular Army. It happens in special operations. You're still an NCO. When you made it to group, go through the Q course, what was it like getting there, and what was mentorship like in the ODA for you?
Whoa. So it was surreal, to be honest. I got there and I walk into the team room and I see all these guys that know each other. I'm just a new guy, right? Because when I got to my team, all the guys that graduated the Q course with me were still in language school. So I didn't have to go to language school. So I went, right? I already habla. So I went to my team room. So I was alone. Yeah. And so I walked in there and I met amazing guys, right? And to be honest, mentorship started right away. So of course, you always got the one guy that want to mess with you because you're the new guy and all that. Great. I had that. But I walked in and the first thing, it was Chuck Jackson was a senior 18 Bravo in the team. So I walked in and, I introduced myself to the team sergeant. The sergeant talked to me. He goes like, hey, that's Chuck Jackson. That's the 18 Bravo. He's going to talk you through everything you need. So I walk over there and like, hey, Chuck, yeah, I'm your junior Bravo. He's like, no, you're the senior Bravo. I'm like, no, I'm your junior Bravo. He's like, no, I am going to show you everything you need to know because I'm out of here.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, what? So he's like, yeah, I'm going to battalion. Sorry. And so he literally gave me like a whole spiel for like 2 days and showed me all the inventories. I took over everything and he was gone.
Man.
And I was like, okay, this sucks.
Yep.
So one of the best things, well, he stayed in the team for a little bit because he ended up being the Fox, but I was a senior Bravo. So of course I could use him for mentorship and things like that. But then one of the things I did, and I went to a next ODA next door, and I go like, hey, guys, I need help. How you doing ammo requests? And so the Bravos there immediately goes like, hey, hold on. Didn't you get back here from the Q course? I'm like, yeah. And didn't you do 2 months as an assistant instructor over there at the Bravo course? I'm like, I did right before I came here. He's like, great. We're going to teach you everything you need to know about ammo forecasts, ammo this and that. We got mortar training coming up. Can you give us the training? Because we haven't done it in a while. Like, perfect. so ended up being great, right? And the mentorship didn't come just from my team. It came from other detachments as well. So I do have to appreciate that, other 18 Bravo just helping me out because they don't want you to fail.
Yes,
absolutely. Of course, in the teams, you got the team rivalries, and that's always going to happen because everybody want to get that Colombia deployment. Everybody want to get, so you got to fight for it, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when we went to combat, we all went together, right? Yeah. So at that point, if you didn't mentor your people right, those are the people that either are your QRF, those are the people that are either kicking the door in with you. So if you didn't do your job right, that's on you.
Yeah. And you were in before everything kicked off with 9/11 with
Correct.
the deployments. what was that like, navigating that from a detachment perspective? Like, you have the experience that you were deployed, you were in Panama. What was it like shifting the mindset of like, oh fuck, we're going to combat now? 'Cause that's something that we don't really talk about, like the early years of Green Berets. There's so much knowledge and so much culture that shifted overnight with our Green Berets.
No, you're right. So everybody's talking about J sets and
Yeah.
Colombia and Peru and this and that. Everybody's having a great time. Everybody mad because Venezuela got canceled because of Chavez. That's still the talk, even that happened here, right? So it's funny because immediately after 9/11 happened, we knew it was going to happen. Like we knew we were going to combat, and the shift honestly was kind of seamless, because the team sergeant turned around and he literally told us, he said, guys, everything that we've been doing until now is training for this. We're not doing anything different. The skills that we've been training on, the skills that we continue to sharpen, is exactly what we're going to need to go there. The difference is culture. So we need to start understanding the culture and the environment that we going into. But other than that, you already have everything you need to succeed in combat. You just got to trust your skills and trust your teammates.
Man.
And when the team sergeant said that, I was like, oh snap. Okay. It kind of like gave you a boost of confidence, right? And then of course we there's still guys around that were doing Desert Storm, and even we even had guys from El Salvador.
No shit.
And, and they're like, okay, this is what you can expect. It's like, and they're going to tell you, it's like El Salvador was different than Afghanistan, but I can tell you what to expect when bullets come your way. Right?
That's something that people don't even talk about anymore. Is like, we had combat, we had guys in combat, we lost guys in El Salvador, and people like it just has been lost to history. They don't understand that before we were getting ready to go to Afghanistan and Iraq. 7th Group still had relative combat experience from what the guys had been doing on the ground in El Salvador, which is crazy.
But if you think about it, how many ODAs have been in Colombia doing adjacent and they get shot up by the FARC?
Yeah.
I know, I did. Right? And how many other teams that happened, maybe not in an intense firefight or anything like that, but hey, they're getting shot at. It's not like they're over there in a 5-star hotel. Well, not all the time in a 5-star
Not all the time.
hotel, right? Not all the time in a 5-star hotel.
You Bogota boys.
But if you're in Ptolemaida, if you're in Larandia, right?
Yes.
You are in the middle of nowhere and you're surrounded by FARC.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, you got the chances of getting shot at because people don't like you over there. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those that, because right before we went to Afghanistan, we were in Colombia and we got shot at by the FARC right during one of our training sessions outside. Of course, they kind of messed up because they didn't realize we were practicing ambush, and it was a live fire ambush. And then, of course, all our Colombians go like, "Everybody line, go get him!"
Oh shit.
It was fun times. It was a great experience for me, right? But we're like, at one point we had to hold them back, go like, stop guys, because the guy kept running, and we're like, they're trying to lure you into an ambush. Yeah. Exactly what you're practicing over there, they're trying to do to you over there. So slow down, that's Farkland over there. Yeah. But so a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that special operations are in a constant hostile environment. They don't need to be in Afghanistan. They don't need to be in Iraq to be in harm's way.
Absolutely. I mean, look at our guys in Niger. Like, it's all wherever Green Berets are in the world, there's a real threat. And
there's a reason we're there.
Yeah. But it's a great lesson for guys listening. If you're still in and you have this idea that like, oh man, you missed out on Afghanistan. Like, no, you're training and you're working towards your next big Friday night football game. You don't know when it's coming. And I hope that when the time comes, you have a team sergeant that's willing to say exactly what yours did to you. Said, hey, we're ready for this. We've trained for this. It's just a different AOR. It might be a very different AOR. We don't know where it's coming. Maybe Taiwan. Who knows? Maybe.
It's like a football team. Yeah. Every year they're training for the Super Bowl.
And it's no different.
They don't always go there.
Yeah.
But when they do, what now? Oh, snap, I made it. What now?
Yeah.
Uh, well, you trained for this for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
It's like, it's time to step up.
Absolutely. You know, and that environment in that time period of the early GWAT deployments, did you still always know, like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm going to be career? And then how did you plan and navigate your career from that perspective of like, okay, how do I stay on the team a little longer? What do I need to do?
So I knew this is what I wanted to do. I mean, especially after going to Afghanistan with my first detachment, ODA 741. Uh, I knew that's what I wanted. The getting to know the guys, the brotherhood, and all that is like, this is it. This is what I need to do. And not only that, I started thinking I need to be better
Mm,
at what I do, because lives are at stake. And if something happens to one of my teammates, I don't want it to be my fault. If something happens, I mean, you're at war, right?
yeah,
Like, and I know a lot of times we get mad at the bad guys because they kill our friend, but we're trying to kill their friends too, right? So,
exactly.
so, so the thing is, to me, as long as it was not a blank error on our part, that it just happened to be that stray bullet or whatever, uh, I'm not saying that's something that you can live with, be happy about, but that's something that your conscience know you did everything possible. It
Yep.
just didn't work out, right? And then your friends will know you did everything possible. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be better. I wanted to get better. And then there was our our first casualty in Afghanistan, Orlando Morales. When that happened, that gave me a lot of rage. We were good
Mm,
friends. But at the same time, it kind of like shifted my mindset. I started looking at everything that happened and all the flaws. And then I realized at that point, we were returning back home, I started realizing, and I said, okay, there was a lot of flaws. There was a lot of leadership failure that happened in his detachment. We're in the same base, but there were two different detachments. A lot of leadership failures that happened. But there's nothing I could have done,
yeah.
right? I couldn't affect that, uh, the call that the leadership made. I couldn't do that. I always tell people, as an E6, or even as an E7, you can come up with this great idea and you say, man, I think we should do this. And people, the team sergeant, the warrant, the captain, they might be like, oh man, that's a great idea. You come back as a W1 and you said, hey, listen, I think we should do this. Chief, that's a freaking great idea. I'm like, dude, it's the same guy just 2 minutes later with a different rank and the same idea, right? It's like, but a lot of times, I think a lot of times leadership don't appreciate what the youngest guy in the team got to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time. I don't want to say that happens all the time, but sometimes. So, and I think that was the case in that point. There was a lot of great advice from the younger guys that they didn't follow. And so when I'm coming home, I decided, how do I change that? I'm just an E6. I can't change that, right? I can't influence that. And I talked to a great friend, still great friend, Angel Gonzalez, Chief Angel Gonzalez. You know him?
Yeah.
Ah, love that man. I mess with him every day. Hey, Angel, you owe me lunch. Uh, but talked to Angel Gonzalez, and he told me, well, if you want to influence the decision making process, you got to become a leader. And
Yeah.
like, you are already a leader, but the thing is, you need the rank. And I go like, that makes no sense to me. He goes like, I know it doesn't make sense, but it's the way it works, whether you like it or not. And I go like, okay. So I came back, and that's what I decided to drop a warrant packet. Now, so, and before people start talking, I did make the E7 list. All right. All right. I was not one of those I couldn't make. I was not one of those that couldn't make E7. I made 7. All right. But I still decided to keep my packet. A lot of people thought I was going to pull it out. I
Yeah.
kept my packet in there. It's like, this is what I want to do. And let me tell you, my very first deployment as a warrant, I didn't even completed the entire basic course, because during the ASUP portion, they pulled me out straight to go to my team to Iraq, to the first C fleet with 741. So I left early, got my certificate. Oh, woohoo! I'm gone. I left early, and I, and at that point, I realized that I made the right choice.
Yeah.
We have a captain that was an NCO, combat experience, Captain Thompson. Mike Thompson, El Gato, if you guys don't know him, I think he's run out of lives. He got like 15 lives now. I don't know. but a lot of experience, right? But believe it or not, he did listen. He's angry all the time. But once in a while, when I sat down, I was like, hey, sir, I totally agree with what you want to do. However, I just want to throw this out there. And if you still want to do that, I support you. But I just want you to look at this real quick. And a lot of times he goes like, all right, I hate to say with this brown new dot, mosquito dot, it's right, but you're right. It's like, but and then I started realizing, holy snap, Angel was right? Because that would have been the same thing I would say less than a year ago.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, I realized that was the right decision. That was the right decision. I go like, now I'm going to make sure that all the stuff that I complain about that was wrong with leadership, I don't make the same mistakes.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what I did. And I pissed off a lot of people. I did, because I was politically incorrect. I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. I'm going to do that. My team is not going to do that. You want to fire me? Go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen. Especially when I became a detachment commander for almost 3 years. I was like, no, it's not going to happen. And people didn't like it. It's like, oh, he's a leadership challenge. No, I just don't run around freaking just
saying yes.
Yes, sir, like you captains do. I was you know what I'm saying?
That's the dream for a warrant officer, having no captain, being the detachment commander.
You know what?
Or your ODA.
Let me tell you, it was hard. It was hard. I'd rather be an assistant detachment commander, to be honest with you. And that's an advice I give a lot of people, because I have known a lot of guys that they get to the team and immediately they want to be a detachment commander. I'm like, bro, that's not what you sign up for. Yeah. If you wanted to be a detachment commander, you should go to OCS. You're an assistant detachment commander. You are the continuity in the team. There's a reason you're there. The captain is going to come and go. The team sergeant is going to come and go. You're still going to be in that team. All right. So
it's literally you're doing two jobs.
Yeah. So I need you to concentrate in one, mentoring that captain, right? Not making him look bad. You need to make him look good. And also, believe it or not, you have to mentor team sergeants, because listen, let's be honest, team sergeants don't know it all. Even that in their minds they do. Right? They don't know it all. There's a lot of team sergeants that were in group for like 4 years, and now they're a team sergeant because they came in late. They were senior E7s, and now they're a team sergeant. I know more about the team than you do. You just happen to have the rank. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, so now luckily for me, I have very seasoned team sergeants when I came through, so I didn't have that problem. And they still thought they knew everything. But but you have to mentor both ways, just like the team sergeant has to mentor that one, the captain, just like the captain has to mentor that because it goes all around, right?
Yeah.
Everybody gets something to bring to the table. So that's the first thing I tell them. I'm like, now, if it just happened that by chance you end up taking command of a team, that's great. Get that experience, but don't sit there trying to hold that position forever.
Yeah.
That's not your job. To me, what happened was that I was in C37. I was in the Soul Force. I was an assistant detachment commander. My job. And I had a Humvee rollover accident. So at that point, I couldn't be an assaulter anymore. And luckily, because I was in C37, they had the RSTs, which later became the AFO detachment.
Yeah.
So they had the RSTs, and the RSTs are a specialized team that have no captain. It's run by a warrant officer. So the warrant there was leaving, and they go like, well, JP can't be an assaulter anymore. While he recovers, let's put him in a team.
Yep.
So that's how I took command of that team. It just happened to be the right place at the right time with the wrong injuries, right? but that's how I took command of that team. And yeah, it was a blessing. I learned a lot, but I will tell everyone that is not my primary job.
It's a lot. It's a lot to fucking take on. Be happy with being a warrant officer and being able to do your job and have, not have anybody come in your lane, because if you take over the ownership of the detachment commander, that's another duty. That's another responsibility.
And don't get me wrong, I learned so much, but at the same time, I was trying to do that, and I was trying to do what
Yeah.
a warrant will do because we didn't have one. So luckily for me, we had great NCOs in that team. The team sergeant, all the other NCOs, and one of them ended up becoming a warrant, Juan Martillo. Yeah,
Yep. Chief
Juanito.
Martillo.
So Juanito, I ended up tasking him basically with the warrant stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh snap, this is the warrant stuff. I can do this. Let me become a warrant.
Yeah, that's the best way to mentor and continue breathing life into the warrant cohort is by identifying the guys that, they're great NCOs, but in the reality, it's like, man, like you'd be much better off and much more, and you would really love your job if you'd be a warrant officer, if you just believed in it. And I think we finally, for the last few years, I would say for the last 7 to 8 years, guys have finally understand it, and we've killed that idea of like the lazy fat warrant. Like it is hard charging go-getters all throughout group. The guys that I went through the warrant course were insanely brilliant. Isaiah, that's one of the smartest people I ever met and one of the fittest dudes. Like, and you're starting to breed out that idea of the culture of like just being the slob, the fat guy on the team, the guy that disappears. It's still funny and make fun of, but that's not the reality. I mean, looking at guys that are in the position right now, like they're just as capable, they're just as deadly, they are phenomenal athletes. Like that's the everybody should be the same across the board. When it comes to leadership, even more so. And it's incredibly harder the older you get too. So
I'm glad that you said that, is because when I see those memes, a lot of people ask me about them. It's like, you get offended by those memes. And I go like, no. And I'm going to tell you why. Those memes are basically based on regular Army warrant officers.
Yes.
Right? A lot of people don't understand there's a big difference.
Huge.
I remember you could never find the maintenance warrant when I was in the 82nd. When you saw Chief in the motor pool, you never did.
Never. Or the supply chief.
Yeah, or the supply. You never saw him, right? But that's based on regular Army warrants.
Yeah.
And I tell people, what you don't understand about a special operations or an SF warrant, they got to work twice as hard. One, they can't let the team beat them because then they make fun of them all the time, right?
Yes.
If you go to the range and the team beats you, they're going to talk shit all day.
All day, every day.
So but then a lot of people don't realize I was in the team room sometimes at 5 a.m. The team didn't even get in until about 7:30 because we had late PT. That way we beat the traffic. At about 7:30 to do PT, because I'm working on a Micon, I'm working on a training plan, I'm working on this D-180 for our next deployment. I'm working on all that stuff. And then the team gets there, I go do PT with the team. We come back while they go eat breakfast. I'm still working in the computer, eating my snacks. And then they're like, hey, Chief, we're about to leave. Everything is in the truck. And then I jump in the truck. We'll go. We do hits. We come back. Everybody leaves. And I'm still working there. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like, oh, Chief. Now, of course, it happens to everyone. Sometimes there's this big command meeting that everybody must attend. And yes, the captain, the team sergeant, the warrant, got to skip out on training. That happens everywhere. There's nothing you can do about that, right? And sometimes we actually took turns. We're like, hey, you want to go and take that meeting while I stay here with the team? It's like, yeah, sure. But the thing is, we work a lot. A lot of people don't realize that. I remember when I was in my team, I said for one warrant, but he was already on the way out, right? So I never saw him. Like if you wanted to, and now he was very smart. You wanted to know anything, you call him and he'll tell you. But he was at home fixing his car. But other than that, all the warrants that I had, they worked so hard. Those guys were in the team room all the time. I don't remember them just being lazy or being out. They were always working on either getting paperwork done so that the team can stay on track or trying to find us our next mission, right? Because a lot of people don't realize that's one of the primary jobs of the warrant, going over there to battalion with the other battalion warrant, going like, what's up? What's coming up? What you got? My team is better. It's like that's what you do, right? So there's a lot of work involved. And I think it's based on conventional warrant, and it's based on old school SF warrant officer mentality too. Because I remember before I became a warrant, there was this big, there's a lot of people becoming SF warrants because they couldn't make E7. Remember, that's why I made sure,
yeah.
hey, I made E7, right? They couldn't make E7. And yes, there's a lot of truth to that. And there was a lot of people that became warrants because no team wanted them. And they still became warrants. And now guess what? Somebody got to take them. So I still remember when JW came to the company after myself, Camilo Carrion, we put all the warrant packets together because Camilo was in my team as well in 741. We put all our warrant packets together. And I remember when JW came over, Waddell, and he said, hey, Commander, yeah, I see this warrant packets over there. I'm about to approve it, but I want to ask you a question. And he goes like, yeah. And it was Major Worrell at that time. He was the company commander. He goes like, so what you're telling me is that these guys, because you endorse them, they're great. And he goes like, yes. And you're willing to work with them. You want them as your warrants. And he goes like, yeah. It's like, good, because I'm changing the policy. If you sign a warrant package, you're getting them back. and Worrell goes like, oh, well, perfect, because I want these guys back. I would love to have. And no shit, we came back to the same company, by the way. Nice. And I came back to the same team.
No shit.
A lot of other companies started pulling warrant packets back. They're like, oh, hold on. Hold on. Wait, you're going to tell me
I keep this? No.
I got to keep it? No, I'm trying to get rid of it. And then started pulling back. But that was a great policy that only lasted for a little bit, right? For a little bit. But it changed the mentality on when you sign warrant packets. And I think, once again, that's the old mentality of the warrants are lazy, this and that. That's not the case, man. I actually went to the Institute not too long ago to see their training. Holy snap.
Yeah.
The training that they go through now is 10 times harder than what I went through.
It was not it's not a gentleman's course by any means. No. You have to study your ass off. And Griffa, I know he's no longer an instructor, but man, I was so happy that somebody, I forget who it was. I think it was Chief Bull. Shout out to you, Labak, who gave me the advice of ensuring that I took my college English class seriously for writing, because like the only G2 he gave me was like, make sure you can write proficiently and read The Ugly American front to back.
Oh my God. I still got that paper. I still got the paper I wrote for The Ugly American.
And I remember, like, I need to connect with Griffa. I want him on the show. People need, that man deserves his victory lap and some claps, because I did understand something intimately by the time I left that course. People will judge you by the way you express yourself in your writing, in your memos. And at the end of the day, like, you have to take pride in being able to communicate to other entities. And how do we do it? Through emails and official memorandums. And that's always been lost to the younger guys. But when you went to the warrant course, when you graduated, there are two things that you are going to be really fucking good at. Understanding how to write effectively and understanding how to sell your detachment to make sure you get that mission.
Exactly.
100%.
And Griffa made sure you knew that. Let me tell you, every time I wrote a paper for Griffa, he came back and he was like, oh man, great paper. And then he gives it to me and it's full of red stuff. I'm like, but you said it's great paper. He goes like, no, the content is great. Your grammar horrible. I'm like, I gotta think in Spanish and then translate. And it's hilarious but he taught me a lot. He goes like, listen, this why you don't write it this way, this.
Yes.
And then when it came to writing awards, that man was an expert. Let me tell you, when he told us, when you write awards, especially when the awards are going through CJ Sotif's staff, he's like, use the soft imperatives in almost every line that you can. He goes like, because a lot of these old people don't know the new missions. They don't know what you're doing down there. But one thing they do remember is the soft imperatives. If they read it in a line, they'll be like, oh my God, it took me back. Right? So no shit. We wrote awards in Iraq. Was one. I wrote all the awards. And I used soft imperatives in those awards. They were all approved.
Damn. Yeah, awards are big, huge pain in the ass. And the verbiage, the way, I mean, fuck, that's one thing I would never wish upon my greatest enemy. I mean, to sit down and write awards for a detachment. It's such a shitty. People don't understand the process. I mean, you can have staff sergeants that go above and beyond their duties, and just because they're a staff sergeant, they're like, no, they don't rate that. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? This guy is leading 30 fucking commandos by himself,
Yep.
fucking taking the fight to the enemy, and you're telling me he doesn't deserve this award? It's like, no.
No, that happened to us in Iraq, and I fought for it, and they got what they deserved. I think there was like 2 or 3 that got downgraded
Yeah.
from a BSMV to an Archon V. Uh,
Yeah.
but still, we fought for it because we told them, it's like, listen, there's only so much I can put in that page. All right. But if you're telling me that this guy don't deserve this, that what you're telling me is that me as the assistant detachment commander, the captain as the commander, that we're lying in that paper and we don't know what we're talking about. We were down here. We did the job. You're sitting in an office drinking coffee all day. It's like, so if you think you deserve a higher award than him, go ahead, give it to yourself. Of course they will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Don't challenge him with that.
of course they will. But I'm saying, it's like, I went over there and I just went off, and there was this one master sergeant that was part of the reviewing process. It was like an acting sergeant major, and I go like, listen, you might be part of the reviewing process, but I don't give a shit. You're not anywhere in the approving authority.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I can recommend. You can recommend all you freaking want. It's like, I'm gonna still fight it all the way to the top, because your opinion doesn't matter to me. I told him just like that at the senior sort of, your opinion doesn't matter to me. He's like, oh, the acting sergeant major. I'm like, well, great, freaking what? Standing attention, motherfucker.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna fight for my guys. That's the whole reason I became a warrant.
And that's it. That is exactly it. That being of service to your detachment, understanding that you have a greater, like, if you enjoy being an 18 Charlie and 18 Bravo, 18 Delta, 18 Echo, that's great. If you love the mission, that's awesome. But if you have that idea of like, how can I be better service to these guys? How can I have a greater, like, how can it be of greater service, be more effective in helping and ensuring that these guys get not only the equipment and the missions they deserve, but the fucking protection. Like, go be a warrant officer. And if you want extra time on a team, but that's also a double-edged sword, because I found out, like, the idea of having unlimited time, it feels like unlimited time. The rest of your team still moves on. You're still going to see the life cycle of the team. And I mean, it happens after a deployment within months. It's a cycle. New Echo, new Bravo. When did you finally come to the realization of like, oh shit, like, at some point I have to get off this ride? Like, at some point I have to walk away from this and move forward in my career.
Well, I honestly, there was all other warrants in my company that were very career focused. They were like, they just took over this job and they already know the next job they want and the one after that. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but there's one specific, and he knows who he is. I love him to death. He's tall and Puerto Rican, and I'm going to say his name. But anyway, like, but you know what? Good. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he don't care what you're trying to offer me. I'm going to tell you what I want.
Yeah.
For me, I enjoy what I was doing, right? But the reality came not because of I was growing out of being in a team. It became because of my injuries. So when I left the AFO detachment, I went back to the Soul Force. And at first I was doing great. And then slowly my body started saying, dude, you didn't recover, you moron. And my body started feeling it. I started forgetting stuff. And it was one of the 18 Deltas that go like, hey, Chief, did you do this? I'm like, I think so. It's like, Chief, you never fail. You always got shit done even before the time frame. It's like, and you're forgetting a lot. After the accident, did you get tested for TBI? I'm like, what's that? And he goes like, you need to go to Walmart. So I went to Walmart, got tested. No shit, TBI. And of course, the team tried to, and I hate to say this word, but it's truly what they were doing. They were trying to carry me along.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't worry, we'll help you. Don't worry, we'll help you with PT. Don't worry, we'll help you with that. And I felt like shit, right? Because I go like, no, the moment that I am a burden to the team, the moment that I cannot carry my own weight or having to carry one of these guys on my shoulder, that's the moment I need to leave the detachment, right? And it was a hard call for me to make. Let me tell you, I think I cried that day when I realized that. And so at that point, I called called the group one. I go like, hey, do you got anything in battalion? It's like, as a matter of fact, the ASO manager is leaving. We need you to take over for a few months. Like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take. Let me tell you, it was a hard call. I talked to the team. They understood it. They didn't want me to leave. They're like, "Oh, you don't need to leave. We got you." I'm like, "No, man, but that's not the right call. I know you guys
Yeah.
got me, but it's not the right answer. You guys need a warrant that can, that don't have back injuries and going to 10 appointments a week or anything like that. That's what you deserve."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a hard call. Yeah,
Yeah, that is 100% the call that everybody has to make for their well-being. It feels like you're doing it for somebody else, but you got to make it for yourself. Like there's more to life than being on a detachment. There's more to life than being SF. You got to look out for your family. You got to look out for your kids, and you got to look out for you got to value yourself. Oftentimes, we need to frame it as the mission's more important, but the reality is, after you're done with your team time, after you're done with the military, you still got to have a life. And that's like the most important thing guys need to understand. Like, hey, everybody wants that 15 years on a detachment. But if you can't do that, go still be of service and of value to the team, or put your physical fitness and your mental well-being, your physical well-being first, and get help. Take that knee. You can still have a great career. You can still do great things. You just have to, and oftentimes we think we're healing when we're trying to do both. Oh, I can just make this appointment. I can do this. It's like, no, dude, take a knee, go to the battalion, be of service there, and go to Thor 3, go to Exos, go to all those places that can make you better, and then figure out, like, all right, I'm finally back to 100%. We have an opening anywhere, I'm ready to
yeah,
take it.
yeah. And the thing is, I took that job for a few months and then I went to SWEC, not by choice, by the way. Apparently, I don't want to say his name, but uh, the the group Warren was mad because he offered me to take Safawic committee.
Oh,
And I said, well, that defeats the purpose of why I came here. I need to heal
yeah.
in the Oh no, you're just gonna be managing. I'm like, no, there's no way I'm gonna
Nope.
be in the Safal committee and not go out there with the guys and train. It's not gonna happen, and I'm gonna hurt myself more. You know. So he's like, well, then if you don't take that, I'm gonna have to send you to SWEC because it's either that. And I go like, you know what? Send me to SWEC. I don't give a shit at this point, right? So I went to SWEC and it ended up being great. I went to .D for about a year or less than that. And then I went to proponency with TD Doyle, working with TD Doyle. That was amazing time. And he was the one that convinced me to retire.
Nice.
And he told me the same thing. He's like, JP, you're going to leave group 10 years from now. Nobody's going to remember your name.
Yeah.
He's like, you know who will? Your son. He was like, your son will remember your name, your brother, your sister. It's like, so you can kill yourself right now and continue to sit here in a desk and hurt your back and, wake up in the morning dizzy and still try to work, drive to work, which you shouldn't, but you have
Wow.
to. He
Vestibular
goes,
issues, JP. What are you doing?
yeah. And he goes like, or you can be home and heal.
Yep.
And so he actually started giving me time off. He's like, don't come in. I got 2 other warrants running paperwork here. And I'm like, no, I'm going to come in. He's like, yeah, but if you feel bad that morning, I don't want you to come in. Of course I was going to come in anyway. But he was the one that convinced me. And then the way he did it, he said, I told him, it's like, hey, TD, yeah, you had cancer. You have all kind of stuff. You were brought back from retirement after 9/11 and all that. You're still here. And he said, you're right. If you retire, I will. And he did.
Nice. Sometimes we need that brother to help us
Yeah.
come to that decision, man. I mean, we spent our entire military career understanding that one is none, two is one, leaning on each other for support. And oftentimes when we are at that edge, we just need somebody to be there with us and go into the unknown together, man. So being able to do that together, that's awesome. That is fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
And let me tell you, I'm glad I retired because it took me about a year or two, wake up in the morning dizzy with a headache,
Yeah.
but I didn't have to go to work. so I could just lay in bed, relax, and the next day I was fine, which it didn't happen before because I kept pushing it. So that headache just lingered the next day and the next day and the next day. Then I started realizing if I take a whole day to rest, I'm good for a few days, and then get the headaches again, rest for a day, I'm good again. So slowly started taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's what I needed. I was so much better after that. So it was the right call. Thank you, TD.
And when you started planning for your transition for that retirement, what did you initially go into, and how did you figure out like, hey, I'm interested in doing this?
So to be honest, I was loss averse. So when I was started our retirement process, we used to do I don't know, Tom Mead, Jesse Brewington, Ed Petkovich. We used to do what is called the Take Over the World Insider meetings, even though that I was a warrant, right? And we used to sit down for lunch and just talk about, hey, what you want to do, what you're working on,
Yep.
and we did that once a month. Take Over the World Insider meetings. Well, I'm proud to announce that Ed Petkovich now owns a multi-million-dollar company, right? And I was like, yes, one of us made it, right? But to me, a friend's success is my success, right? It's like you got to be
Absolutely.
happy for that. I started doing like leader shooting training in Puerto Rico for law enforcement, ended up turning into a company, right? Because they wanted more training, but I couldn't do it also. I just sent guys to do it. Benny Rios and stuff like that. I just go over there and do the training. And it ended up turning into that. Then I started doing contract as a G chief for MARSOC.
Oh, wow.
I did that for 5 years. I was a G chief out there just telling the Americans that they are horrible Americans. But you think we're not smart like you, American. So I did that for a few years. And shortly after I stopped doing that, I started focusing a lot. Now I still run the company, right? New the Fion Group. I do that. Contract based. I don't like to get into government contracts. It's like that. That's too long. I like my vacation time. But then I started focusing at that point on suicide prevention, and we started losing so many friends to suicide. And of course, I knew I couldn't stop suicide myself, but I wanted to understand it better. So I just went out and started talking to people. What you think? Have you ever thought suicide? And slowly started talking about that. And at one point, I just did it just to talk to people and help them out. And that's it, one-on-one. And it kind of like slowed down a lot because, it's just people feel uncomfortable talking about it. So I felt like I was making them feel uncomfortable. So I stopped doing it. Then I got through the company, we got involved into human trafficking recovery and operations. That filled my heart. As soon as we rescued the first little girl overseas, that to me, that was my calling. I need to do this. So far right now, we got 83 rescue so far in a few years. So that is dear to my heart. It's very expensive. So if you're out there and you want me to rescue people, let me tell you, it's expensive. Now, as a company, we don't make a profit. These are people who got money and hire us directly. Like, I want you to find my daughter. We think she's here. Or I want you to find so-and-so. We only have one occasion when this family goes like, I don't have anybody kidnapped, but here is this amount of money. Find someone, rescue him.
Holy shit.
And we're like, okay, well, we're going to charge you only for expenses. That's it. And that's all we do. Because it's expensive to run an operation like that. It can last a day, it can last weeks, it can last months. But anyway, so got into that. And shortly after that, I started focusing back into the mental health area. And that's when I decided to start a nonprofit. It's called Let's Walk It Out 222-mile rock march. And initially what I wanted to do was like, okay, I'm going to go 22 miles a day, hence the 22, of course. Now we know that's not a true number anymore. It's more like 43, but
44.
So I go like, I'm going to do 22 miles a day, camp on the side of the road, go the next day, do it again. And then I started getting people going like, hey, I'll do it with you. Hold on, let me call my buddy. Hey, you want to do this? No, but I can sponsor it. So next thing you know, it turned into an event. So we did the first year. I couldn't do it. I ended up in the hospital right prior to that. A lot of people will say I did that on purpose. I didn't. And I got about 18 holes on me to prove it.
Oof.
not 18, like 9. Bad surgery at Walmart. Don't go to Walmart. But anyway, so but then after that, when that event got done, a lot of people came to me and they said, "JP, you know what the expectation now is?" I'm like, "No, you got to do this every year." So we ended up incorporating, starting like a full nonprofit, because the first year we were sponsored under the Special Forces Foundation. So we started our own nonprofit. We started that and we turned it into a program. Because let me
Nice.
tell you, when it worked for me and it worked for a lot of people who has been in our program, when you're out there on the road for 8-9 hours a day, hot, raining, you're rocking, uh, it's therapy.
Yeah.
You got a lot of time to think. And not only that, you got other people to your next, and like it's showing you, you got people that you can lean on. All the other guys telling you, "Oh man, you're good, man. We got our next rest stop coming up in half mile, man. We're good, man." It starts showing you a lot. A lot of people forget you don't lost your resiliency. You just need to find that it's there.
Yeah.
And if I can push you to find that resiliency, I'm going to push you to that. Now, of course, the goal for everybody participating in this is they want to do the 200. Honestly, it's actually 224 miles, 224 miles by the time you get done. But everybody want to complete the whole thing. But I always tell them it's not about finishing the whole thing. It's about when you came here, how much you thought you could do.
Yeah.
And if you can live here doing more miles than that, you already proved to yourself that you can take more pain, right? That you thought you could. That pain might not end right now, right? For us, it's going to end at the end of the day when we take the rest and we start the next day again. But mentally, it's not going to end when you want. It's going to end when it needs to end. You just got to keep pushing through, taking the next step,
Yeah.
taking the next step.
It's like what we talked about earlier, the mindset. Just kind of forge that mind to just keep pushing. 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
Five more minutes.
so that's one of my main things right now, either human trafficking, veteran advocacy, of course, and helping with mental health. Because I think a lot of people are confusing. A lot of people say that the United States got a mental health problem. I disagree with that. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't think we have a mental health problem. I think we got an entitlement problem.
Ooh, I
I
like
think
that.
I think we have a problem that when I don't get what I want, I scream and kick and start pulling my hair until somebody gives me what I want. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it works.
Yeah.
It's
I think
working.
that's definitely a true statement for our younger generation. We're not, and the studies are out there. The generation of kids that are growing up with the iPads, with the iPhones, instant gratification of everything they want with the screen. That's an absolute truth speaking to those individuals where it's always been given. You've always had everything given, given, given. And the moment you go to crisis, the moment you have a hardship, fuck, I don't want to deal with this. That's one of the things that I've struggled to explain to people that have had that the idea of like the world's completely unfair. I'm like, look, the world is going to fuck you over more often than not. You got to be able to pick it back up and say, fuck it, I got to drive on. Like that's
It's like I tell people all the time, life is great. Humans are not.
yeah,
Right. So don't blame life. Blame the humans around you. Obviously, you're surrounded by the wrong humans. So you need to find a different circle,
yeah,
a circle that lifts you up.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I'm surrounded by when I get surrounded by people with negativity, I walk away from them in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I tell them, hey, yeah, when you start changing your mindset, you give me a call.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got time for your stuff. I
It's the
don't.
truth. It's the absolute truth. And you don't have to, I tell guys like, look, you can love somebody and they can be sort of a toxic person. You don't have to fucking cut them off, but set boundaries. If
Th-
you know every time you get around your one friend, it instantly turns into a pity party, let them know the moment they get into that mindset, they start talking about that shit, just change the subject
There
or
was a
just, yeah,
there was a guy that used to go to Charlie Mines all the time. Loved the guy, but every time he walked in, you asking how are you doing? The very first thing that came out of his mind, my ex-wife and this and I'm getting screwed. And finally, one day, I told him, it's like, how are you doing? And if you start with your ex-wife, I'm gonna walk away. And he just looked at me and he said, why? And I'm like, because you keep complaining about it, but what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, really nothing. I'm like, exactly. When you start doing something about it, then you can complain that it's not working. But right now, you're just sitting here, just taking it and bitching about it. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it. I don't want to hear it. You want to have a beer with me? Have a beer with me. Let's talk about football, dogs, cats. I don't want to hear about your ex-wife anymore.
Anything. We can talk about literally anything, but just
Yeah.
have a positive, man. That's, we don't, I think we forget all the times we were actually focused on gratitude in a team room, but it's, the connotation that gratitude and writing out your positives and your wins for the day, it has this new age, perspective on it, and people kind of shy away from it. I'm like, no, this is Green Beret shit. You always got done with the mission. You were in the ready room getting your shit ready. You weren't moping. You weren't sad. No, you were excited. Like, man, we had a pretty good mission. Even if it was a horrible dog shit fucking mission, even if it was a fucking grueling 20, 40 days, you still found something to be grateful for. But hey, man, let's grab some chow. Let's fucking get on our necks. Let's gonna have a great night. We're gonna have a great reset, man. Like, it's gonna be good. We made it back from midnight chow. You always found something happy, something to be positive about, man. Not always, but for the most part. That's what you got to continue doing like that. If we want to really talk about things that work for our mental health, like, there are tons of resources out there. But if you don't have resources, or you're not willing to look at the resources yet, just start looking at the good that's in your life. I don't care if you're in a trailer living in fucking backwoods Fort Bragg, North Carolina. There's something good in your life today. Focus on it.
The way I look at it is, and a lot of people hate me because they said I'm always too happy and I'm always too positive, right? A lot of people think it's fake. It's not, right? Because I tell people, they're like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I opened my eyes this morning. I'm freaking doing great," right? Because I like to say this all the time. I died a few times, so I know it sucks, right? I didn't really die, but I almost did, right? So I know it sucks. So I died a few times. So if I open my eyes this morning, it's freaking great, because everything else after that you can work on, you can find solutions, and you can fight through it. But you can't fight through that. Once you're dead, that's it. It's over. It's over. So if you open your eyes this morning, you're blessed. If you have a roof over your head, even if it's a tarp, you're blessed. If you got to eat something today, you're blessed. There was a time that I had to eat ramen for months and months and months because I was going through a divorce and a hardship. And guess what? I had ramen. I was blessed. That's better than nothing.
For you, it was ramen. For me, it was $5 footlong month. The Subway on 7th Group saved my ass during my divorce. That's I'll tell people, man, I was living in the back of my F-150. I was too proud to ask for help for the very beginning. I had an iPad and I had $5 footlongs. One half of that footlong was lunch. The other half was dinner. And boy, when things finally turned around for me, it was the mindset, being able to say, you know what, and laugh about the situation. I'm in the back of my truck right now, and all I have is this iPad and my Subway. But at some point, things are going to look up for me. Things are going to look better. And before you know it, I was at free fall school, getting ready to go through that. And then on the backside of that, I was going on a JSET to Peru. And let me tell you, the greatest adventure of my fucking life. And all I had to do was shift the perspective of like, hey, might be going through a divorce right now, but pretty soon I'll be in free fall school. And then just like that, when you started looking at positives, next thing you know.
And then I have per diem to eat a steak.
In the best Peruvian steakhouse, man.
Yes. You got to look at the positive, bro. You know what? For me, I didn't even know what it was. But when I was going through the hardship, I found what the Dollar Tree was.
Yeah.
And I made a $30 grocery shopping, $1 per item, ham, cheese, eggs, freaking ramen, you name it. And that lasts me a month.
Yep. Living like kings, I tell you.
Oh,
JP,
my God.
I can't thank you enough for being here today, man. Before I let you go, if you could give any of our brothers, whether a Green Beret, infantryman, just any veteran out there struggling, what is your one or even 3 top tips that you would give somebody as they're going through their transition?
I would say if you're transition, I don't want you to focus on what you used to do, right? Focus on what you're gonna do next. You still got so much to give, right? Your service doesn't stop when you ETS or retire, right? Your service
Absolutely.
is for life. You got to continue to serve. Find a different way of serving now, right? Whether it's helping a nonprofit, helping a friend, helping a family business, it doesn't matter. Find that. Uh, the other thing I want to say is like a lot of people don't realize is they were like, oh man, I got nothing to give. I got nothing, to give back. Well, let me tell you, if you just joined the army and went through basic training, AIT and all that, the army spent about $800,000 in training for you. If you went through special operations, there's millions of dollars invested in
Yep.
you. What are you doing with that investment? Use that investment. You got plenty of skills that people have to pay for. You got it for free. Companies got to pay thousands of dollars to go to a leadership school. You got that for free.
Yeah.
And you got the best leadership training that you could ever get in the military, right? So put it to work. Don't just sit and think what I'm going to do next. Go and find what you're going to do next, right? And you know what? It's trial by error. Go out there, find something, you don't like it. Guess what? Now that you're retired or ETS, you actually can say, I don't need that. Let me try something else, right?
Yeah.
Go and try different things. Eventually, you're going to find what really fills your heart. I tell people, and they laugh when I tell them, I know a lot of Green Berets that went contracting in Iraq, contracting in Afghanistan, they did shooting training, and then they found their love making soap.
Yep.
Some of them are knitting hats. And that's how they find their zen, right? They're like, I'm here, it's just me and this needle. That's it. And I find peace, and I got a business with it too, right? I found that going to Greg's Pottery here downtown and just picking up a piece of pottery and just sit over there with my headphones and start painting, right? I paint, and it's just me, and I totally forget my surrounding. I don't even know who comes in and out. It's just me concentrating on, do I put a stripe on this or I don't, right?
Yeah.
And then I finish it, and a lot of times I tell them, hey, put it in the oven and then just give it to a kid that likes it. I don't even want it. I just came here for therapy.
It's true, man. Yeah, find what brings you joy and be
Yeah.
willing to explore it, man.
And always remember this. We can't leave this out. Don't be selfish thinking just about you. Think about your family and your friends. And if you're struggling, take care of yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of your family. Seek for
Absolutely.
help. All right. It's not weakness. It takes a lot of strength to seek for help. So go and seek for help.
Absolutely. And if you're listening right now and you're a Green Beret, either a legacy Green Beret or an active duty Green Beret, and you need resources, head on over to the Special Forces Foundation. The link's in the bio, or you can go right here. Proudly sponsored by Special Forces Foundation. I am glad and proud to be partnering up with them to help stop the suicide epidemic within not only our greater our veteran community, but our Special Forces operators as well. Because we're not all, contrary to the popular belief, we're not invincible. We are human beings and we break, and we all need resources, and we all need somebody to fight with us. So I'm telling you right now, if you're struggling, reach out today, get plugged in with Special Forces Foundation. Tons of programs, tons of avenues that we can take to the fight and get you better. So please reach out today if you need help. JP, it's been a pleasure having you in today, brother. It is absolutely awesome to see you out there in a just cause, not only helping end and stem this fight of human trafficking, but getting your hands dirty and helping stop this veteran suicide epidemic, man. We need more of our guys and gals out there doing the same thing. And I can't thank you enough, man. It's been an absolute blast. Once again, where can people go if they want to check out your nonprofit or see what JP's up to?
You can go to letswalkitout.org. And if you want to check out what JP is doing, follow me on social media, JP Cervantes 180A, 180 Alpha. So
yeah.
you can find me there on social media, and you see my shenanigans all the time. I try to keep it fun.
Hell yeah.
Oh, by the way, have fun at the retirement ceremony. I know who you're going to go and see, and I was trying to go. I just can't go. So
Oh man.
tell him from me, I'm sorry I can't be there. Giving a hug and giving a kiss. He hates that. Giving a kiss for me. Tell him JP send you a
Oh,
kiss.
hell yeah. Well, I'll get this process. Big shout out to Joffrey Soleri, an amazing NCO, amazing leader.
Yep.
When I almost didn't submit my packet to become a warrant because some early shenanigans. And I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this career. I'm just going to go be a dog handler and I'll just be done with it. And that man looked at me. He's like, no, don't come with me to Columbia. Submit that warrant packet. You need to do this. And I stuck with him. We did a JSET together, went to Columbia. I submitted my packet. And you know what Joffrey did for me? Joffrey, this is how smart that man is. He brought everybody from our chain of command down for a command visit. And then it was like, oh man, we should stay a little longer for a couple of nights. And since you're already here, here's my senior Bravo. He wants to go be a warrant officer. You can knock out your interview right here. There's been a lot of things that great leaders have done for me in my entire military career, but nobody has fought harder for their NCOs than Joffrey Soleri. I've witnessed it time and time again in my own lived experience. I've seen that dude clear out the entire AOB and then get on the phone with command and just fucking have it for like not 20 minutes, not 30 minutes, over an hour to back up his Green Berets and his guys and to see his career unfold for the little bit of time that I've been able to know him. Being able to witness what a great leader he has been to so many, it's remarkable. I mean, he got to be the top guy at third group. He led them for a long time, and now he's finally taking his walk and he's transitioning. So damn right, I'm gonna drive down there and be there.
and I tell you, I know for a fact because I'm the president of SFA Chapter 100, which is supports third group. So I had to work with Sorelli and in different things in third group. And I see how much they respect him, how much they appreciate him. And that's a lot because respect is not about the rank, it's about the person. And they just don't love Sergeant Major, they love Sorelli.
Absolutely. And nobody has better hair. Nobody has better damn hair. He gave me the confidence to grow mine out because, man, that dude always, there's that one thing, the rule number one of being a Green Beret is always look cool. And damn it, that man has always abided by that number one rule.
I met with him the last time I saw him, and like, what hair growing product are you using? Because there's no way you're not going bald yet.
JP, it's been a pleasure. Everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Till then,
all right,
take
brother.
care.
Thank you so much.